Okay, so something really big just happened. A major international move was made against Nigeria because of the escalating violence there. But you know, the real story, the one that nobody saw coming, isn't what happened in Washington, D.C. It's what started happening inside Nigeria itself. A silence that's been held for years is finally, unexpectedly, starting to crack open.
So we're going to break this all down in 5 parts. First, what was the catalyst, that line in the sand? Then, the most interesting part, how the silence is breaking inside Nigeria. After that, we'll get into the hard data, because the numbers do not lie. Then, we'll look at the government's policies, which is a wild story in itself. And finally, we'll ask the big question. Is this the wake-up call everyone's been hoping for?
All right, so let's start at the beginning. What was the event that kicked this whole thing off? Well, it all started with a decision made thousands of miles away.
And here it is, the headline that got the ball rolling. The U.S. has officially put Nigeria back on its list of countries of particular concern. The reason they gave? The escalating massacres that are targeting the country's Christian population. Make no mistake, this is a huge diplomatic move. But here's the thing, that official action, that's just the start of our story. The really fascinating part, the part that's making history, is how this news landed inside Nigeria. Because that's where things got really interesting.
And that brings us right to our second section, this completely unexpected reaction, and how a wall of silence is finally starting to crumble.
To really get how shocking this new reaction is, we gotta rewind a bit, back to 2018, when then President Trump asked Nigeria's President Buhari this very blunt question. It caused an absolute firestorm. Nigeria's political class was outraged, completely condemnatory.
And for a perfect example, just look at Adamu Garba. He's a prominent political figure there. Back then, he ripped into Trump for asking the question. But now, wow, it's a total 180. He's saying things like, this isn't about blaming Christians, it's about a failure of leadership. I mean, that is a seismic shift.
And he's not the only one. This isn't just some one-off opinion. You've got Rabiu Musa Kwankwaso, a former governor, a former defense minister, a presidential candidate, and he's not pushing back. He's actually calling for unity and cooperation. It's a totally different tune. And once those guys spoke up, it was like the floodgates opened. We're hearing it from all over. A teacher in Kaduna State says, "We can't close our eyes anymore." A prominent lawyer, Idris Faro, just comes right out and says the senseless killings must be ended immediately. The official wall of denial? It's cracking, and it's cracking from the inside.
So you have to be asking, why? Why now? What changed? Well, to get that, you have to look at the cold, hard facts, the reality on the ground that has just become too grim, too awful to deny any longer. Which brings us to Section 3, the numbers don't lie.
Just look at this number, 55,910. That's not a typo. That's how many deaths were recorded in just a 4-year window. That's more than the population of a small city. Just gone. It's absolutely staggering. And it's not just the killings. In that exact same period, you can add over 21,000 abductions. And remember, these aren't just statistics. Every single one of those numbers is a person, a family, a whole community, completely torn apart.
Now this is where the data gets really telling. It shows this isn't random violence. When you adjust for population size, Christians were killed at a rate of 6.5 to 1 compared to Muslims. That data just blows up the whole narrative that this is some kind of even-sided clash.
So who is actually doing this? Well, it's not one single group. It's this really toxic, deadly mix of Fulani militias, established jihadist groups we all know like Boko Haram and ISWP, and then on top of all that, you've got these armed bandit gangs running wild. So, faced with numbers like that, you would expect an all-hands-on-deck response from the government, right? Well, this is where the story takes another really strange turn. This is our 4th section, A Tale of Two Policies. Get this. Just days before the U.S. made its designation, Nigeria's vice president was at the United Nations giving this incredibly passionate speech about the human dignity and freedom of the Palestinian people. Powerful words. But then you look at the policies back home, and the contradiction is it's mind-blowing. The government runs a program for so-called repentant terrorists that gives them monthly payments, free housing, and job training. Meanwhile, the 8 million Christians who have been displaced by that same violence, they're stuck in camps with no schools, no medical care, basically no future. And what are the results of this approach? Is it working? Well, the numbers speak for themselves.
In just the last year, abductions have skyrocketed by 139%, and deaths from terror have jumped significantly. The strategy isn't just failing, things are actively getting worse.
All of which leads us here, to our final section. What does all this really mean for the people of Nigeria? Is this finally, truly, a wake-up call? For advocates like Blessing Oriabe, this U.S. action was more than just politics. It felt like a moral intervention, a reminder from the outside world that these lives matter, a message she says has been totally lost among her own country's leaders.
And for people right there on the front lines, like a pastor in southern Kaduna, well, his take is even more powerful. He sees this external pressure, combined with these new cracks in the wall of denial at home, as the very answer to their prayers, a real chance for change.
And that leaves us with this final question. For years, the official story has been to deflect and to deny. But now, that's changing. And when a nation's own leaders can no longer bring themselves to defend the indefensible, you have to ask, what comes next?